So I figured let's look at some of your questions or comments rather. See if we can't assist one another navigating our processes. Mind is a very interesting thing. So we have here let's see here what this person is saying. So Luzogo Matebe, I think this one is just someone being grateful for the clarification. So Tumesang is asking there if gold digging is a physical consequence of spiritual poverty. This is when I was speaking about umshado wangempela and how your sexual interactions are tantamount to spiritual wedlock. And yes, gold digging is a symptom and a consequence of involving yourself in spiritual exchanges consistently, because some of you will start off very okay, and then the more you engage in these activities, then you start feeling that you're losing something, and the only way you can sustain yourself is by carrying on. So you get trapped in that state of the whole life to gain something from men. Those ones are literally call them spiritual robbers. Going around bamamadonta inkunzi for gain. So yes, it is a consequence of spiritual poverty. You will gold dig because you are bankrupt. Hlachaya is there talking about identity crisis of males born out of wedlock suffering. Okay, that's good. That's good. It's good to know that someone is trying at least to organize themselves in a way that allows them to express and reach out to their paternal side, their masculine side of energy, which is very good. You must continue. Mostly just people are expressing their gratitude here. Let's see some of those I have not responded to. Ntombi is talking about uthi akufani nokugwinya igazi lomuntu elokudla liyadliwa. So this argument that she's presenting here is this one of, well, it's okay to drink the goat's blood because it's not the blood of the person. Apparently the blood of goats is for consumption. Okay. Right. Be that as it may, the essence of Uktwala remains the same. Whichever blood you claim to be using. Those people who help people obtain amatwalo will tell you, all of that blood that you are drinking is not because you are trying to sustain yourself. You are holding yourself to certain contracts. That's what it is. Usuke uzibophezela. Akusikona ukuphuza igazi wentombi. For the sake of ukuthi udle. So let's not get it twisted. Asingaphambanisa izinto. Akekho umuntu othe nisuke niphuza igazi lapho nithi niyathwasa nithi nenza in because nambile cha. You are drinking that blood so that nizoqinisa isibopho phakathi kwenu nalamadlozi asuke enipossess. It's a contract. It's vumelwano. Funa kulo ngichaza into endeke la. Chaza into engekho faka besobala. What's the other ones? Someone is asking here, Mr. Chuster. Chuster is asking a very long question here. Let's read this one. Mr. Mkhize, this is a question I want to ask you since I'm back on the channel. Okay, welcome back, Mr. Chuster. The spirit of miracle in animals. How their psychology has developed this sense of belief in miracles. They get tranquilized when they are wounded or cure or healed, and wake up cured that has affected their minds into religion or miracle thinking because they assume memory is being affected when they can't trace their steps. And the chemical is dangerous. I don't know. I wanted to ask because the experience of the drug carries an experience, and another thing which I found to be helpful is breathing for 3 minutes and 4 minutes, 1 hour, to get to your heart slowing, unbelievable measures, lung recovery and expansion to ear recovery and brain recovery, left and right brain, especially the back part of the brain and front. Encourage of all alcohol, diet damages. I mean, you have to travel back to those breath holds. You will know when they end, what causes sickness or emotional sickness. It's an interesting statement, and I can sense the question here that he's trying to put across is that one of how we get trapped in these belief systems and this obsession with a miracle expectation. It's like we have been put in this situation by the same people who we now expect to perform miracles to cure us. And that's the part of the animal nature he's talking about. Well, yeah, you could say that's the case with black people. You could say there's no reason why you can't say that, because they are very much involved heavily in this thing of waiting for miracles and expecting miracles. And all the time, they have these expectations on the same people who brought them this harm and difficulty. But yeah, I guess he needs to write this question a bit properly so that we can have a full context. But yes, you find that the drug that has been prescribed is much more dangerous than the illness that you were supposedly being cured from. Such is the case with our obsession with religiosity. We are so heavily religious, and it's proving to be more harmful than whatever they thought we had before we became religious. It's sad, to be honest, when you really think about it. It's really sad. Guess that's where Mr. Chuster is coming from with this question. And as far as the breathing techniques, we will talk about them as well in the future videos. It's part of the implements of stillness. You have to practice breathing techniques. It goes alongside those things of yogas and Qigong and Tai Chi. Those are all practical things we can do to obtain stillness within. And yes, he's correct there in pointing out that breathing and holding of breath. Those people who went to our camp, they will know this firsthand, because we did have an instruction session on how to do those things. This one is asking if why. Okay. Sandile la Wongani Sandile is asking, King, you must tell us how to get ourselves back from the past sexual activities. Angithi siyalungisa njalo nami ngifuna ukulungisa. Yeah, that would be very irresponsible of me. Guys, honestly, I would love to give you the solution, but I won't. We are not in a place where we can give solutions like that, because it would be me giving a license to hoe. I can't give out a license to hoe. It's just, it would be very irresponsible. I mentioned this in our previous video. It's no. And I guess then I understand why people will have particular certain clubs, and you'll have to have a rite of passage and a swear to secrecy to access the knowledge that they possess. And this is why, because you want to kill particular behavior, but you can't kill it by saying, well, now that you've done it, go and do this and this and this. Because what's going to happen is that the person is next going to just keep doing the same thing, because they know, no man, I can solve this later. And then you end up with a bigger problem than you were initially trying to solve. Mahlangulana is asking me about this the old theme song. No, I've decided to remove Intoga Lokuzana, because I found out no man Umbuso Khoza, who does that song there, the Lahubu. So Umbuso Khoza is very much aligned with that household le yakwaZulu. Umuntu wabo I can't be showing in any form or fashion to be endorsing any of their things that they're doing in any shape or form. So these are the understanding the dynamics, because things can be very political very quickly, so let him do his things for them. It's not saying that we can't look down on his talent. He's a very talented man, but let him sing for those people and for them only. It's fine. We can do without it. And it's asking that, is it not natural order or phenomena that a father doesn't participate to the child's infancy, premature growth, until he reaches a certain age? Males are more cognitive and critical in terms of functionality. As a result, mostly contribute to stabilizing and influencing the innate power and potential of one's place in the future. Yeah, no, that one is interesting, because Vele in the olden times, not so old, but old times, is that they would encourage that the father sort of stays away for at least a year. Nakona, it was because of all these things of intelligence and all that, so they were really trying to protect the child from undue negative influence. So then it became a tradition ukuthi abantu besilisa must stay away from children. But here's the thing, children don't start learning these things that you're talking about, the cognitive development and all those things. They don't start learning those things as they come of age much later on. No, those things start being learned much earlier. If you can be there for your child at less than 1 year old as a man, then you can say that you are trying to do that. You can influence that child. They can grow up to be a certain way. Because once they reach, say for example, the age of 5, umuntu una 5 years old sekumuntu omdala loyo okhulile usenento zakhe. There's nothing you're really going to teach them. This has been detailed a lot by people who investigate these things of cognitive development, and it's actually quite true. As someone was saying, give me your child, and at the age of 1, and I'll show you the man at the age of 5. So that age, that range from 1 to 5 is a very critical stage for cognitive development and critical thought and overall disposition. So if you want to make a man out of your child, or make a person who thinks in a particular way, the earlier you present yourself as ubaba is the better. It's not like in serious and these days. So shouldn't be a problem. So take care of your children there, try. Mahlangu. Take care of your children. Don't be too caught up in the shenanigans of superstition. Okay, Uluzuko Matiba is asking an interesting question here as well. Ubaba wami esaphila wangitshela ukuthi ngingalenzi iphutha lokuba nengane ngaphandle komshado ukuze kube yimanje ngesigcino sesithombiso. So umbuzo wami uthi alikho yini icala lokuzala ngaphandle komshado? Yeah, icala to whom? To whom exactly is the qalas? And the quick answer there is that it's a qala between mankind. There are issues between mankind that mankind need to deal with. Abantu abaphilayo. And then there's the dynamic of the universe where each and every single created beast must abide. And the rule of thumb there is that you must go forth and multiply. There is no allocation. You must go forth and multiply under these ceremonies. But in our pursuit to organize ourselves, we set up all these kind of rules. So it becomes problematic in that sense ukuthi khona abangeke bajabule ukuthi ke umithisa umntana wabo ngabathathini. So it becomes a problem indaba ye out of wedlock ngaleyo ndlela. It becomes a problem in that sense. So you have to pay your dues when you can to pacify abantu abaphilayo. But as I've said before, ningabe so caught up in these dealings with other people nize nikhohle ukuthi ingane zenu ezenu. You can't really disown your children or them become not your kids because mhlambe quality imbuzi eziwu-13. Those things don't make people your children. It's just you settling debts. Now, abantu actually who tend to be quite fairly not really directly involved. Abantu abalekude who want to feel like they are benefiting from this transaction. So don't let these kind of things put you off having children or make you what's the word? Izinganenzi nizinyeze ngabantwana benu or ningabathanda abantu or nisabe ukuba nabantwana or even be ashamed of them. There will come a time where all these things can come right, but it's a good idea now ukuthi we keep this thing of out of wedlock to a minimum. It's good for organizing society, and we must teach our children to try and pursue that. But until we sort out this issue of how do we get into the business of uganana, silungisa kanjani lento yama rituals omgano namaphathi omgano like yombondos and yomalobolos, how do we fix that thing such that it encourages ukuthi abantu bashade? Because right now all that it's doing is putting a hurdle between ukushada kwabantu nongashadi kwabantu, and those people who actually want to do. So you will end up uzwana nomuntu for the longest time trying to piece together the required zingomos, and half the time ugcine futhi ungaqedanga naloko kulobola lokho, yabo. And 15 years later you find yourself sitting with this woman and shadile for the longest time, or they don't recognize your marriage because anqedile, what have you. So we need to look at those things, see how we can get rid of this nonsense of amalobol totally. I think there's a point where we need to just, get rid of these malobolos, or have a re-examine how we do them, have a new set of rules that's going to be inclusive for everyone. Abantu abashad, I mean, really, it's a good thing that people can get married, but why do we want to continue making these barriers and creating these barriers for them to do so? When we can literally just accept ukuthi abantu bayathandana, bayashadana, bakhandumuza, and we support them. It's ridiculous to imagine, but again, sas. So yeah, I'm not saying ukuthi you are wrong for keeping your promise to your father. Go ahead, it's a good thing to do. It's the least troublesome thing to do for yourself in your life and how you want to organize yourself. So take your time until you find the correct person to do this with, Uganda and all those things. That's fine. It's a good example. It's progressive. Kodwa akangisho ukuthi-ke laba who already have children out of wedlock, stop thinking there's something wrong with that. Stop thinking there's something wrong with those kids. Ingane zayenu nazo lezo zithandeni, nizamukele, nizilekelele ngayo yonke indlela. Stop putting bathina belungu. I forget. Bane igama lokuthi so manje senzo attach a stigma. Don't stigmatize your children because they were born out of wedlock. Akufuneki lokho. It's not helpful for anyone. And then someone here is saying ukuthi uyazi ngeke ngazibona ngendiza ngaphezu kwe-Nile River. I felt some power pulling me down. When I was just about to hit the tree canopies, I woke up. Then following day, I saw myself at a point where two oceans meet. I was explaining to some people that these two waters will not meet. I woke up. What could this necessarily mean? So basically, this one is having an interesting dreamscape, but I think I'm jelly with this truncated version of the dream. About interpreting dreams, so people must refer back to those videos if they want me to look at their dreams, because this truncated, summarized version here is not telling us anything really. So what if you are flying above the Nile River? I need more details of what was going on. Then we can tell you what this is supposed to mean for you. And then these two oceans are meeting, and then what? So it sounds like there's an interesting dream that happened here, but Madlamin, we don't know exactly what's going on, because you're not really saying anything here. You are just highlighting the things that were interesting to you at the time, but those do not carry the actual meaning of the dream. So if you want, this is a note for anyone. If anyone has an interesting dream they want to share here, try to be more thorough. Don't be summative. Don't summate. Tell us in full detail all the details that you can remember, so that we can see exactly what your dream was trying to tell you. Langelihle Sishu here is asking, ucela ukubuza ukuthi yini incwadi engaziphasisa ongaziphasisa esikhulumisa ngezinto zikamoya ezihambisana nendlela yokuphila kuyona. Okay, so ultimately this Usishi wants me to suggest books that you guys can read. I don't know, guys. Niyafunda emthethweni. Do you guys read? Do you guys read? I see your comments here. Angiboni uthi nisafunda man. But anyway, for those of you who read, I can't tell you in a short form, but I would suggest that you need to read as much as you can. Read all manner of things. All things are relevant. All information is interesting. All information is useful. But I would say in the beginning you need to start with the disinformation books, or the misinformation books, or the books that have been controlling us for all this time. You need to start with those ones. So you have to read them together. Take your Quran, take your Bible, read them, understand them. And then when you're done, take the Book of War, that one of Sun Tzu, and read that. And then you can spiral out of wherever you want to go after that. I mean, there are so many books that are interesting. So you can just go. There was Holy Blood, Holy Grail, another book that was interesting. You go there, they do a lot of research work on what they found with regards to the bloodline of that person who was murdered on the cross and all those things. So, I mean, there's a lot of books. The topics are limitless. This is why I can speak quite authoritatively in a wide range of topics, because I read a wide range of books. I don't limit myself on what I read, because you will never know what you're going to come across with these books. You know, you thatha incwadi ungayinakile uthi ayifunda, and then you find something you were looking for the longest time. You know, so just go and read. I can't say, for example, Uti, which one has been the most influential book for me, because I mean, I look at them from the perspective of, I looked at that one and I learned something. I looked at that one and I learned something. You know, they all have something to teach you, because mostly it's people's opinion. Although you'll find me half the time I'll be reading non-fiction things, you know, science, biology, all those kinds of topics. Yeah, but it's all very interesting. I remember I was reading a book called The Mark of Cain. The Mark of Cain was an interesting fiction novel. Very interesting book, that one. Tom Knox wrote this book. Yes, this is The Mark of Cain. You can look at this one. It's quite interesting. He talks about the things that were happening in those concentration camps during the World War II. There, on the Nazis murdering people there, gas chambers and all those things. But then he takes you straight from Europe all the way to Namibia and starts telling you about what the Germans were doing to the Harare people there. I was most amazed because I was not aware until I read this book, Utaibo, that the Germans were committing genocide in Namibia during the same time. And, you know, it's quite interesting. And because it tells you, oh, okay, there's something that the Germans knew that we don't know. but then it takes you back there, talking about those people, the Basques and all of them. But yeah, to give it an interesting read. He's on a mission to try and discover who the actual Jews are. So you just take a grain of salt with the things that he's put in that book. I mean, it's a fiction, but you can look at some things that he mentions there and you research them and you're like, boom, wow, aibo. This is very serious. It's just an example of some of the books that I read. You just read books, find information, you do research, you do more research, you realize, aibo, there's a lot that we don't know. So Galela is asking, part kweviki ngizwe ilizwi ngelele lithi ngiconnecte universal consciousness. I since tried to meditate on it, but to find out where it came from. It's been 4 days, nothing as yet. I'm just confused. I'm currently trying to find out who I am. It's an interesting statement. Galela, what I can tell you is that don't rush. Don't rush. Here's the thing about wisdom and knowledge in the universe is that there's no linear occurrence in events. So you heard a voice, it said connect to the universal consciousness, and it's fine. So instead of trying to figure out where the voice came from, why don't you preoccupy yourself with trying to do that? Because once you try to do that, then you will realize where that voice came from. On your way, you will find. Because I'll explain this way. This path of connecting to the universe, it requires you to actually go. You have to go the way. You have to go. You can't sit and be told, oh, hi. Yeah, imagine you're more connected to the universe. This is who is saying this. So you have to go the way to discover, and who is behind everything. Okay, I see Ukuza is suggesting some books there. Yeah, Iliad, Odyssey, I've read those things. The Tale of Gilgamesh, The Golden Cooks, those are very interesting books as well. I've read them all as well. You can look it up. So let's see. Galel, don't try to squeeze yourself too hard. So you're on the right curve to seek out who you are, but it's not something that you must pressurize yourself so much in imagining that's going to happen overnight. 4 days is nothing. Some information you can wait for years to discover. So it's not going to be like doing research in the physical sense where you can just go through books until you find something. No. So allow life to teach you these things. Allow the universe to reveal these things to you. If it has been revealed to you, would you need to connect on the universal consciousness? Do you even know what that is? What is the universal consciousness? Do you know how to connect? What is to connect to that? So maybe preoccupy yourself with those two questions in an attempt to do the task at hand, and then you will learn about the origins. Umdlalos is asking to be involved in our program, a back to school program. Those who want to be involved in our back to school program, guys, please be patient. I will upload a Google form so that people can just fill in their details there. Squamban is even suggesting carpooling. Yes, it's amazing. That's good. I like it. Support. I would really appreciate it. We need to go out and be the change. When we know that people need certain things. We know there are people who can't go to school because they don't have uniform. Some are going to school, but it's not a pleasant experience to them because abana uniform ephelele. They still have to deal with the fact that emakhaya ukudla akukho. So let's do what we can, at least remove one problem. One less problem for the child to go through, the better. We're not saying we can do it all, but I go with that position in my mind with, okay, if we can just solve this one issue that these children have to go through, then they have one less thing to worry about, which goes a long way so they can stay in school. It's really difficult, shame, because you sit there, you read all these stats about unemployment, but you imagine things are normal. Things are not normal anymore. Get better. So let's get involved. Let's do what we can. Let's assist where we can assist. Let's see who else is having something interesting here. Okay. It's an interesting by Inchai there. Inchai gilokhu ngizibuza ngempela bazofunani in this realm because they no longer have bodies. Why are my spirits abo in interest in this realm? Befuna to possess and manipulate their spirits bezwa pain ngale? Yes, good question. And it's exactly that. These people are restless. They have not found peace. They have not found home. They have not found solace when they get to the other side. So they are roaming. I did try to explain them. People die and then they are roaming all over the place and they don't know where to go. They get frustrated trying to cross the river. They get hoodwinked by other spirits who know better than them to come and hoodwink you into doing things that you need not to be doing, so that the cycle can continue. So they will scam your grandfather or shonizolo scam ukuthi hayi mafuna ukwela la, yeah, hamba ulandele yangani izila, so that uzoqhubeka bese yawela wena, and then afike nangempela ngephupha, hayi kumele uthathe isikhwama, uhamba uthatha isikhwama kuthiwa hayi oza-ke sesekwelisa mayifika lapha ayikhona akweleki, and now usekufake enkingeni and naye still in shit. So it's a serious thing that happens that side. It's just that we can't open the veil ukuthi nibone kahle, and half the time I wish that we could, because I mean it would help a great deal if we could all see what's going on the other side. Well, I hope it would help a great deal. Ayanda's asking, how will the next family be decided? I don't remember the context to this question, so she would need to explain exactly what she means by this question and where she's drawing from. Okay, that's interesting. Someone is saying, Luzuko Matiba is saying that there's an old video he's just found on YouTube on throat singing that umama Uthembu Xhosa. There's a video filmed in 1985 of those Xhosa women practicing throat singing. It is referred to as umngqokolo. I was surprised that these practices have been part of our society, but today we have been forgotten, abandoned these practices for civilization, whilst other nations adopted them. Yeah, ikanjalo. Uthina, it's very strange into it. We're so busy Papa teaching everyone izinto ezibalulekile. And now they are using those same things against us. Nangomunye la umbusibonga konke uthi uboniswe intambo white red yellow blue ukuthi yenzeni intambo we don't know. Phinde futhi udingeka kwenzeke njani lapha mara nethwalo lenomo hayi bandla. Sanele sibonga konke, it's very interesting lento yakho yentambo, but ayiqali ngawe. A lot of people have gone through that game, but you must remember what it's a game to capture you. So mawuzoba busy nalezo zinto lezo uzogcina ukhala egcineni. Just try to go through our videos and you find your answers there. I've talked a lot about this nemchiva nani yonke lento le abafana nifake emzimbeni. It's very simple because you just ask yourself very simple question, ukuthi zifike nini lezi intambo lezi amongst our people, and you discover ukuthi into ezifike nje manje nabantu ufika. So they really have nothing to do with us. That should be your first indicator of a red flag, as far as itholole normal ukuthi fanele wenze njani, that's something that we cannot speak esidlangalaleni, because we, like I said, we can't allow people to have a license yokuganga by telling them the solutions to everything. Ukuthi hayi makunje hamba wenza nje, and then zohamba umuntu ayoganga because they know ukuthi hayi mase ngi-right ngizoxosha kanje busy la udlala namanomo la dlala namanomo. Yeah, Tebo Khorekgotso is saying he has a Sanusi gift. How does he connect? You have to join our membership there. I think I've put those videos behind the membership. So join the membership, Tebo, so that you can look at those videos of this thing of connecting. Okay, that's interesting. Zanele Khatebe there is also expressing her interest in the subject. Pelayo. Of course, we will continue with these discussions now and then, because I think we need to engage on that level. Kona sizolungisana emqondo yethu. Thuzi wentaba ngikhulekele emkhizwaneni, umkhizo uyazwela ejazini selikhize izinsuku ezinhlanu straight. Ngixolisa kuba muntu ngibe ngingaxhasi. Uma ngingabuza inkosi ike yahlangana yini nabantu ngaphansi kohlelo lephi abangaphansi kohlelo lamambuka hayi amabutho emoyeni. Ngibonge. Amambuka being those people who sold us out. Yeah, I've seen some of them, but they have been given the instruction to organize themselves, baqoqane bonke, so that they come and present a proper detailed report ukuthi baze benze zonke lezi zinto abazenza, babethunywa ubani, bese bedayisela abantu ababadayisa babethi bakwenzelani, who lied to them, abaconvince, so that we can start dealing with those people directly. We are waiting. It's a long process because lezi zinto have been going on for thousands and thousands of years of people selling us, and it has become like a sort of a genetic ufuzo. Abantu banalo ufuzo nje lokudayisa nje, they just like to sell. Yeah. Peter Pan, Tumisang is asking, is Peter Pan also linked to Pitt's Zwarte Piet, thinking about Michael Jackson as obsession with children? Yeah, that's very interesting observation there. I actually never thought about Peter Pan in that sense, but you start to analyze the story of Peter Pan. It sort of connects back to the story of Zwarte Piet and Nicholas. It's quite interesting. Okay, I responded to this one. Okay, someone there, Sinigo Mapanga, was sending a super chat there, $70. Sibonge Mapanga, thank you so much for all those people who contribute to our channel. We are able to come here and talk to you because of your contributions. Abanye staff writers nabo sababonga because they just come here to watch and not even like the videos for that matter. Sibonge Mukhanazi super chat yakho. Sibonge kakhulu. So yes, those are some of your comments I was dealing with there. Very curious comments, some of them. We try to meet you at the level at which you are in. But it's important to me that there's at least a level of understanding of what we are trying to do here. That's because I'm not doing it for me as such. It's a program that is very important for our people, and I'm hoping our people will get a lot of solutions from the things that we are trying to explain to them. Sithunyiwe. And we will continue to be abantu abathunyiwe kahle, and not be too much of a secret society. Yeah, anyway, so those are your comments. Very interesting. I don't know how we ended up spending so much time on them. The Alchemist as well. Yes, Ukuolo, I've read some of his books. He's very much involved in that. He's very interested in those agnostic things, Ukuolo. So all his writings tend to gravitate towards some of the European witchcraft and agnostic understanding. But since you people are here in the chat, is there a question here that is arising before we close? And these people, about 56 must continue to like the videos. And go on like sabula. We can't be here playing. Sifuna ukwenza program here back to school kulonyaka ozayo, so we can't be joking here. Abantu must put likes here so we can raise funds. The more people we can have, the more funds we can raise, and the more children we can reach. Madiba ufuna ukwazi ukuthi entabeni kwenzakalani. Hey. Yeah, no. I think we'll have a specific video for that one. But it will be behind the membership section. We can't have that one in public. I'm not going to share that as Langalali. But it's a very, very interesting experience. It's very expensive, very, very, very interesting. And it's very instructive in the sense of all these things I'm trying to re-explain, especially with the meditations and stillness and knowing thyself and calm and all these emotional balances. Definitely useful to go out and live in the wilderness. Very important. Okay, that's that. Since there's no other questions coming from the floor, let me close and thank you all. Izobonana, we will continue. Oh yes, okay. Before I forget, the other thing I should have mentioned today, which I'm asking to explain, but the other thing I should mention is that you have to live the spirituality. You have to live as a spiritual person. It has to become part of you. It has to be integral. You have to be the self that is physical and the self that of yourself that is mental and the self that is the spirit must all combine and exist all at the same time, consistently. No matter what is going on in the physical world, you must not lose touch with the inner self. So living the spiritual life is very important. Hey, Nena, enfundisa abantwana, Rebecca, I feel very sorry for you. That one is very difficult and it's a big job. But when it comes to children, hopefully you are in the primary phase. Mau say primary, you need to lead with the emotion of love. You have to love the children. At least the children are not as conceited as the adults. So teaching children is not easy, but at the same time, if you can lead with love, it can be fulfilling. It can be much easier. You can be present with all that noise that they are making. And, you know, if you lead with love, you start to literally enjoy the joyful noise. Because, I mean, half the time children are making joyful noise. Something that we are not used to anymore. So it upsets us because are we tolling down. So practice the stillness. Practice uthando, uthula, injabulo in your daily life. Bring that into your mind and focus on that. But Mause High School is another story. Because now we are dealing with adult individuals and there's a lot of unpleasant energies that are at play. And what you find is that with most of those high school children, I'm sure you've seen that demonic possession. It happens because now the children have learned the negative energy and it's become part of them. Depression, worries, sadness. Some of them are already jollering. It's painful, that one. But what you need to do is you still need to lead with love, but at the same time, you are doing it in a sense to protect yourself so that you don't get sucked into the negativity. The negative energy that these kids bring. I mean, there are so many different kids that come from different homes with different dynamics that I play. Nemoya yakhona engcolile. So you need to be clear. Yeah. You need to vibrate in the most positive way. You need to be the light so that you don't get infected and caught up in the negativity in the schools. Because I ngibona phela lapha ema high school shame ziyakhala, and you guys get very frustrated because you can't seem to reach these people, and you need to accept it's sebebadala abantu base high school. Sebadala. It's almost too late to think that you can do something for them. But there is a program that I want to do for Abantu Base High School to try and motivate them. The best motivation for Abantu Sebadala is competition. If you introduce competition, then you will have excellence. So our kids are not competitive in school because it's just such a mundane thing and there's nothing going on. Just go, come back, hey, we borrow t-shirt and then they go home. So that one is a program of mine that I want to do, but we'll see what next year. Then we can try and see if we can't push the young ones in high schools to be more competitive, to be more driven towards something. But we are born in high school with most of those kids. They don't even have life goals. They're just there. And the people who are just there are the worst kind because they are bored. Rebecca, and you might have bored. There's nothing really you can do for them, So you are going to be struggling with a presence of mind, and you'll be struggling with mental health a lot when you're dealing with such people. Yeah, phakathi. Hayi angazi ke leyo phakathi yokulokhuzana yokuhlasibulisa yokunyuka iziboya. I wonder. Ukushuthi there's a presence. Kuyenzeka ke ukuthi khona presence there. Ukuthi someone is speaking and drawing from something else that is somewhere. SAS. But it's a journey for you lapho phakathi uthi awuzama ukuconnecta to the universe. Maybe you'll understand what's going on. Yeah. No, ziyakhala in my high school, Rebecca. Yes, I understand. It's quite a challenge. But we will sort it out. It's so unfortunate ukuthi emhlabeni abantu who have the power are the ones who are useless, and then those ones who have ideas are powerless. I think someone said that, and it's very important to understand that. So sihleli la sinama ideas of what to do, but we are not empowered enough to carry out those plans. It's not tragic. It shouldn't be so difficult to help our children become better versions of themselves, but it is because the people who are in power are just useless. It's just a sad part of things. People are useless, but they have all the power. Sizothinike. I can dissuade, but yeah, it's fine. We'll just keep trying to do what we can. Yeah. No, nginibingelele bantwana. Let's hope everyone is well on this Friday. Take care of yourselves. Remember to breathe. Remember uthando ukuthula ninjabulo. Ukhanya kungaphakade amitava. The essence of being completeness. Become part of the universe. Yeah, I know. Do we need to make a checklist, Pagati, or maybe people will just? We just have to have hope that people will just eventually realize what they are supposed to be. I mean, we can't tell them what they need to be. That I think people will just realize eventually. Would know, man. I'm supposed to be this way. I'm supposed to be this way, and then they fall in line. This is the hope that I have. Yeah. Okay. Let's close this. Yeah, so kube ngathi podcast ka Joe Rogan 2 hours. For those of you who want to engage, guys, if you really want to engage with us, we do have meetings on Teams, depending on the situation. So if you haven't joined the Telegram group, then you need to join the Telegram group. We have conversations on the Teams meetings there, and the only place where I'm gonna share my link is in the Telegram group. Yeah, then that's where we can engage. But you're also welcome to continue with your comments on the comment section. Yeah. Okay.